Hey there everyone, OpenAI recently released their O4 mini model and soon after Gemini released their Gemini 2.5 Flash model. But the question is, which is the best out of these two? Let's find out. First, why I am comparing them? It's because have a look at the pricing. Gemini costs $0.15 per million input tokens and $3.50 per million output tokens, and O4 mini high costs $1.1 per million input tokens and $4.4 per million output tokens. And as you can see, the prices are actually comparable, so it's fair to have a comparison. Let's get into reasoning, max, and then coding sections to understand who is best. The questions will be visible in front of you. You can pause and have a look. Starting off with the water tank question. Here, Gemini scores a 10 out of 10 and O4 Mini, it scores a 7 out of 10. But things change pretty quickly. In the next letters question, Gemini scores 9 out of 10 and O4 Mini scores a 10 out of 10. Next, connect the dot questions. Gemini scores a 7 out of 10 and O4 Mini High again scores a 10 out of 10. Next up is the grids question, and again Gemini scores a 8 out of 10 and O4 Mini again scores 10. Next up is a very hard question, that is 64 tennis player question. Here Gemini scores just 4 out of 10 and O4 Mini scores a whopping 9 out of 10. Next up, the hardest question that I have, the seating arrangement. In this question, as expected, Gemini scores a 0 out of 10, but O4 Mini High, it scores a 7 out of 10. My mind was blown after seeing this. There is no competition, guys, between Gemini and O4 Mini High. O4 Mini annihilates Gemini. But what about Max? Let's get into the Max section. So we'll be directly skipping to the Frontier Max test because according to the benchmarks, O4 Mini High is very good at Max. So this is the complete question. So the models have two options. Either they can iteratively take my help and reach the correct solution, or they can do everything all by themselves. So they are clearly given this option. It's up to them which option they choose. So let's see guys, let's send this question to both models. Let's see what we get. Okay, now we can see that actually O4 Mini High is searching the web guys. Okay, we have got the response from both models. We can see that I think O4 Mini High has given us an intermediary code. So let's run that and we'll share the output with O4 Mini High. This is the output that we have got. So let's copy this and let's send this to O4 Mini High. And meanwhile, I think Gemini has directly rushed to the final answer. We'll have to see if that's the correct answer. Let's see. So let's run this. Okay, and according to Gemini, this is the answer. But actually that's not the correct answer guys. The correct answer will be visible to you. This is not the correct answer as you guys can see. So that's a fail from Gemini. Meanwhile, O4 Mini High is taking an iterative approach, which is nice. So again it has given us an intermediary code. Let's copy the code. Let's run that. Okay, we have got N2. So let's send this to O4 Mini High. Okay, I think we have got the final code from O4 Mini High. Let's see if that's the answer. And that is a fail guys. Again, even O4 Mini High was not able to do it. Whereas actually O3 Mini High was able to do this question guys. So let's move on to the next question. So let's send this question to both models. Let's see what we get. Okay, so Gemini is taking its time guys, and meanwhile O4 Mini High again has given us an intermediary code. So let's run this. And I think I was wrong guys. It actually gave us the final response. And according to me, it is correct guys. You can check the response and compare that. O4 Mini was able to do that guys. Okay guys, we have got a response from Gemini. Let's copy the code and let's see what it has come up with. Let's run this. And okay, we do see a matrix. I think it is an intermediary code that Gemini has generated. So let's send this. Okay, you can see guys. So Gemini has done a lot of thinking and it has come up with this response. It says the answer is 1001 guys. I mean like it's not even close guys. That's a fail from Gemini and a clear win for O4 Mini High. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, so let's send the question. Let's see what happens. Make sure we set the thinking budget to max and let's run this. Okay, so Gemini is still thinking. Meanwhile, O4 Mini High has given us a intermediary code. So let's run this and send the output. Okay, I think it is the actual answer guys. It said that let me know the output, but I think this is the original answer. Let's see if that's right. And that is indeed the right answer guys. I mean like O4 Mini High is not using any intermediary codes and giving us the correct answer in one shot guys. Meanwhile Gemini is still thinking. Okay, we have got a code from Gemini. Let's see, like O4 Mini, will it be able to give us a correct response? Let's see, let's run the code. And okay guys, that is a wrong answer that we have got from Gemini. As you guys can see, that is a fail from Gemini again. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, we are moving to even harder and harder questions guys. Let's see if these models are able to get it right. Let's send this question to both models and let's see what we get. Okay guys, both have given us a code. Let's start with O4 Mini. Let's get the code, paste it and let's run it. Okay, I think it's an intermediary code. We have got G is equal to 1. So we'll share that with the model. and let's move on to Gemini. Let's copy the code, let's paste it and let's run it. Okay, even this was an intermediary code I would guess. So let's send this to Gemini and let these models run. Okay, meanwhile O4 Mini High has given us another code, guys. Let's run this. Let's see. Okay, I think it was the final answer, guys. We can see actually O4 Mini gets it right. That's a pass from O4 Mini High. Let's wait for Gemini. Okay guys, we've got the response from Gemini Flash. Let's copy the code, let's paste it and let's run it. And it says the result as none, guys, for some weird reason. So I would have to give it a fail, guys. Let's move on to the next question. So this is the highest level of question in the frontier math. Let's see, guys, if these models are actually able to get this right. Let's run it. Okay, both models have given us an intermediary code, I guess. So let's start with O4 Mini High. Let's run that. Okay, we have got something. So we'll be just pasting this here in the chat and let's send this. Meanwhile, we've got a code from Gemini as well. So let's copy the code. Let's run it. So we have got similar kind of thing. We'll send this to Gemini as well. And by the time we sent a response to Gemini, we have got a response from O4 Mini, guys. Let's copy the code and let's run it. Okay, we have got another code. So we'll mention that and let's see. Okay, we have got another response. Let's copy the code. And I think Gemini has directly given us a response, guys. A final response. Let's see if that's right. Let's run the code. And it says the correct answer is 500,000. But that's actually wrong. Meanwhile, we are getting a lot of code from O4 Mini High. I think it is taking an iterative approach. I hope eventually we get to the response. I think we have got the final response from the model, guys. Anyways, let's see. Let's copy the code. Let's paste it and let's run it. And it says the correct answer is 367691. It is very close to the correct answer, 367707. And I think it was the only model that has been able to come this close. And as you can see, Gemini was not able to get even one question correct. And it's understandable because these are very hard questions. But O4 Mini, guys, it got all questions correct, just leaving the first one. Again, it absolutely demolished Gemini. So up until this point, you might assume why to look at coding, O4 Mini will be better. But trust me, you want to see it. Let's get into the coding section. Okay everyone, so the first question is, can you code a dragon using HTML, CSS and JS? Show side view of the dragon and give your best implementation in one single code. Let's send this question to both models. Okay everyone, we have got the response from both models. So let's start with OpenAI O4 Mini High. Let's open up HTML viewer and let's see what we have. Let's preview it and okay. This is what we have, guys. It barely looks like a dragon, I'll have to say, but it's a very bad response, guys. Anyways, let's see what Gemini has done. Let's copy the code, open up the HTML viewer, and let's paste it. And let's preview. Okay, I'll have to say that both are jumbled actually, guys. Here in Gemini 2.5 Pro, I can identify the legs and the tail, and maybe this big square is the wings, and this is the head. But let's do one thing. Let's give this feedback to both models. So we'll not give too much hint, but what we are going to say is, it is barely recognizable as a dragon. Please fix things and give me a realistic dragon. So let's send this to both models. Let's see what they come up with. Okay, we have got the response from both models. Let's start off with O4 Mini High. Open up the HTML viewer and paste it. Let's preview this. Okay, now it is recognizable as a dragon, I guess. We can identify the wings, the body, the legs, the tail, horns. It is barely looking like a dragon. But I think compared to the previous one, this is kind of better. Now let's look at what Gemini has come up with. Hopefully I think it should have performed better. So let's paste this. Let's preview. Okay, that looks better, guys. We have the head. I think this is the neck, the body, legs, tail, and I think this is most probably the wings. We can clearly identify the eyes, the mouth. So comparatively, I would say that Gemini's response is better, although both are not that good. So that's a win for Gemini. Let's move on to the next question. The next question is, build absolutely the best implementation of the Super Mario game in a web page without using any external assets and in one single code. Let's send this to both models and let's see what they come up with. Okay, we have got the responses. Starting off with OpenAI O4. Let's open up HTML viewer. Let's paste it. And okay, it is pretty much basic, guys. And also actually the controls are swapped. I'm clicking the right arrow to move front, but it's moving back. That is a very basic implementation, guys. I'm not even able to move. Let's look at what Gemini has come up with. Let's copy the code, open up HTML viewer, and let's paste it. And okay, that is a very basic implementation, but I would say comparatively it's way better, guys. And it's also very smooth. So we are able to move. At least this one is working, guys, even if it looks basic. So comparatively, I would say that that's again a win for Gemini 2.5 Flash. Let's move on to the next question. Next question is, create a JavaScript animation of falling letters with realistic physics. Let's see which model is able to give us a working code. Okay, we have got the responses. Let's start off with OpenAI O4. Let's see. Okay, so we do have the ball, but there are no falling letters, guys, weirdly. Although if I just drop the ball, The animation of the ball dropping is actually nice. You can see it's actually bouncy. But other than that, there is no falling letters. Let's see what Gemini has come up with. Let's paste it. And okay, we do have falling letters, guys. Let me actually view it better. Let's preview this on a new page. Okay. As you guys can see, it's absolutely awesome, guys. I would say that it is one of the best implementations I've ever seen. It's appropriately bouncy and it looks phenomenally better, guys. There is no comparison. I would say that it's a clear win for Gemini 2.5 Flash. Let's move on to the next question. So the next question is, write a Python code for a hollow circle with an opening, and there are two balls inside it which hit against the wall, and every time a ball exits the circle, two new balls appear. So let's see if they are able to make this animation. So this will be a Python code. So now we are entering the backend side. I hope OpenAI O4 mini takes the lead here, because OpenAI models have been very good in backend and non-aesthetically pleasing things. Let's see. Okay, we have got the responses from both models. Let's start with O4 mini high. Let's copy the code. Let's paste it, and immediately we don't see any kind of error, guys. Nice. Let's run this code, and we do see two balls. So I think this is the top half is the opening, guys, but it's not clearly defined. But I would say that it is actually working. So the real physics is working, but the opening could have been a bit smaller and also it prominent. Okay, that is what we have got from O4 mini high. Let's see what Gemini has come up with. Let's copy the code. Let's paste it, and immediately we don't see any kind of errors. Nice. Let's run this. And okay, we do see two balls, and it is I kind of the same response, guys. The opening is right over here. Although it's not very big, but again it's not very prominently mentioned. But if I have to nitpick, I would say that the balls were weirdly getting stick in O4 mini's response, and well, nothing like that is happening in Gemini's response. So comparatively, that's a slight win for Gemini. Let's move on to the next question. Now we are entering the hard questions territory. Starting off with the question, design a Python program that simulates Earth rotation. Let's see if these models are able to do that. Okay, O4 mini I just thought for 5 seconds, guys. Okay, we have got the response from both models. Starting off with O4 mini, let's copy the code, paste it, and immediately we don't see any kind of errors. Nice. Let's run the code, and that didn't run, guys. That's a fail. Let's share this error back. As you guys know, this is kind of hard question, so it's kind of expected. So we'll be sending this feedback to O4 mini high. Meanwhile, let's see what Gemini has come up with. Let's copy the code, paste it, and immediately we don't see any kind of errors, guys. Nice. Let's run this. Okay, guys, have a look at it. You can see, I think this is the Earth, and I think this black dot is the moon. We can see the day and night cycles, guys, but it is kind of going for the dotted matrix kind of Earth. I don't know why. So since we gave one chance to OFO mini high, we'll give another chance to Gemini as well. So we'll just mention. So we are mentioning, I don't want dot matrix kind of Earth. Give me realistic looking Earth. Give it all you got. Give updated code. Let's see what it comes up with. And meanwhile, I think OFO mini high is done. So we'll continue with OFO mini high. And immediately we don't see any kind of errors, guys. Let's run this. And again, that's an error, guys. Again an error. We'll have to see. Let's wait for Gemini. If Gemini gives us a working response, I will have to give this a pass for Gemini. So let's copy the code, let's paste it, and let's run it. Okay, and have a look at it. Comparatively, I would say that it's at least working, guys. Although it doesn't look exactly like Earth, but it's kind of nice. We do have the moon as well, guys. As you guys can see, when it's in the night side, it is black, and when it comes to the light side, it turns white. So comparatively, that's a very good response, guys. That's a clear win for Gemini Flash. Let's move on to the next question. The next question is even harder, guys. Develop the most advanced and fully featured pinball game possible in Python. Let's see what they come up with. Let's send this question to both models. Okay, we have got the responses, starting off with OFO mini high. Let's copy the code, let's paste it, and immediately we don't see any kind of errors. That is nice. And I think it has used the TK inter library. Anyways, let's run it. And okay, we do have something, guys. Let's hit R to restart. Okay, the ball is jumping, guys, but I'm not able to move the flaps. The flaps are kind of stuck. So let's see what Gemini has come up with. Let's copy the code, let's paste it, and immediately we see an error, guys. That is not what I expected. But the game still works. Let's see. Hold down for plunger. Okay, hold down and release. Okay, that looks very nice, guys. I hope you heard the audio. Let me run that once again. It still has an error, but the game is working. So I'll hold down the plunger and it should have went down instead of going up. Anyways, and let me release it. And okay, the flaps are working. Comparatively, it's a better response, guys. So let's mention that the ball is not actually falling on the board. So let's mention that to Gemini. So we are mentioning the ball is not falling on the board. Make it a curvy path that leads to the board. Give me complete updated code. And to OFO Mini High, we have to mention that the flaps are not working and also the game looks very basic. And also there is no way to release the ball. Okay, OFO Mini High is done, guys. And also I think Gemini is also done. Starting off with OFO Mini High, let's see if it was able to actually solve the issue. So immediately we don't see any kind of errors. Let's run this. And okay, there is an implementation to release the ball, but I don't see the actual ball there. It says hold down to charge and release to launch. Hold down and okay, the ball is released. But again guys, the flaps are not working. You can see the ball is released but the flaps are not working. That's not a very good response and even worse than what Gemini gave in the first instance. Let's see what Gemini has come up with. Let's copy the code, paste it, and now we see two errors, guys, for some weird reason. Let's run this and see what happens. It says unexpected indent. I think that is a very clear error, guys. Should not have happened. So let's give a third try actually. Let's send this error back to Gemini. And to OFO Mini High, we are mentioning the flaps are not working. They are not flapping. And also have a curvy path that guides the ball into the game instead of directly throwing up. Give complete updated code. Let's see. As you guys can see, the models are actually finding it difficult because these are hard questions. If you are enjoying the test, do hit the like button, guys. So we have got the response from both models. Starting off with OFO Mini High, let's copy the code, let's paste it, and immediately we don't see any kind of errors. Let's run this. And okay, now the flaps are working, guys. Let's do one thing, let's do a restart and let's see. Okay, the ball is falling there and there is no way to interact, guys. Also, one of the flap is working, but the other flap is actually in the wrong angle, as you can see. So there's no way to actually play, and it's a very basic game, to be honest. Unplayable. Let's see what Gemini has come up with. Let's copy the code, let's paste it, and immediately we don't see any kind of errors. That's nice. But we have 346 warnings. Okay. Anyways, let's run this. And this is what we have got, and you can see this is the diagonal path that it has given. I think that should work. Also the flaps are working, guys. But I think they are implemented wrongly. Anyways, let's hold down for the pendulum and let's hit space to restart. Let's hold down and release. Okay. Okay guys, the board is weirdly implemented such that the ball can't actually escape. You can see it is hitting the wall at the top. I don't know why it came up with such a game. So it's very hard to actually do anything, guys, because we have this obstruction over here and we have given enough tries to both models. But comparatively, I think we can agree that Gemini's response was better in this one. So even though that's a fail for both models, but comparatively, I would say Gemini was better. Let's move on to the next question. Okay guys, now we are back to the front end coding. Things are getting even harder because they have to build the game of Angry Birds on a web page. Let's see if they are able to do that. Let's send this question to both models and see what they come up with. We've got the response from both models. Let's open up HTML viewer and let's paste it. And okay, we are able to actually pull the string. And let's see if we are actually able to play. Okay, we are not able to play, guys. As you guys can see, we do have the setup ready, but the game looks very basic, and if I pull up the string and release, you can see it just vanishes. So that's not working. Let's see what Gemini has come up with. Let's copy the code, open up HTML viewer, and let's paste it. Okay, that is a blue screen, guys. I mean, what just happened? Let's try it once more, and that's a blue screen, guys. Okay, we'll have to give this feedback to Gemini. We are mentioning it's a blue screen and nothing else. Please fix and give complete updated code. And to OFO Mini High, so we are mentioning when I pull the string and release, the Angry Birds and the string vanishes instead of getting catapult. Please fix this and give complete updated code. Let's send this to OFO Mini High. Meanwhile, we have got the corrected code from Gemini. Let's copy the code, open up HTML viewer, and let's paste it. And okay, it does look like something, and also the catapult looks good, but I think it is working in the opposite direction, guys. If I'm moving down, it is going up. If I'm going up, it's going down. Anyways, let's see if it actually works. Let's release it and okay, it vanishes, guys. It's not working. Let's see what OFO Mini High has come up with. Let's copy the code, open up in an HTML viewer, and let's paste it. Let's see. Let's release this, and that vanishes, guys, instead of getting released. So comparatively, I would say that in fact OFO Mini High was better in this because it was able to give us a comparatively better response in one go. So that's a win for OFO Mini High. Let's move on to the next question. Okay everyone, so you might be familiar with skipping silences programs. Always the raw recordings have silences. So what these models now have to build is they have to build a silence trimmer which identifies silences in the raw video file, trims that and gives us the updated video file without any silences. Let me send this question and then I'll explain you what it actually means. So by the time these models are generating, let me actually show you the raw video. This is a 25-second video, guys. Be patient and let's have a listen. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is a test of silence trimming. As you guys saw, there were too many silences that we didn't want and those need to be trimmed. Let's see if these models are able to do it. And we can clearly see that OpenAI O4 mini is done, guys. So we have got the code. Let's copy this. Let's paste it. Immediately we don't see any kind of errors. Nice. And let's run it. Okay, so this is the UI that we have, video silence trimmer. Let's browse the exact file. So this is the silence test. So it is asking for the silence threshold. We'll set that to -60. And talking about the padding, we'll have it at 300 milliseconds. So let's start trimming. Let's see, guys, if it actually works. Here in the UI it says detecting silence segments and it's done, guys. It says it has saved it into the desktop. Let's see, guys, let's have a listen. Okay, we have a 14-second audio. Let's run this. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is a test of silence trimming. Okay, if you listen very carefully, you can see there is kind of duplication. Have a listen it here. Welcome back. You can see there were two backs, I guess. Listen it once again and be careful to listen it. Welcome back. You saw that? It happened twice. It was not a very perfect response, but okay, it was kind of bearable. Let's see what Gemini has come up with. Let's copy the code. Let's paste it. Immediately we don't see any kind of errors. Nice. Let's run this. And immediately we can see we have a lot bigger UI. Let's browse that file. Silence test. Let's open it. We'll set the silence threshold to -60 and padding seconds to 300 milliseconds. Let's start trimming. Let's see if it actually works. Okay, and that's done, guys. I would say that comparatively, it was faster than OpenAI O4 mini. Anyways, let's open it. Okay, so it was way better at trimming, guys. The audio file is now only 10 seconds. Let's have a listen. Let's have a listen. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is a test of silence trimming. Guys, so comparatively we didn't see any kind of artifacts here. So comparatively that's a win for Gemini 2.5 Flash again. It seems that even in the backend it is good, guys. Let's move on to the next question. Guys, next question is even harder. They have to build a real-time music visualizer. So let's send this to both models and let's see what they come up with. Okay, guys, OpenAI O4 mini is done. So let's copy the code. Let's paste it and immediately we don't see any kind of errors. Nice. Let's run this. And this is the real-time visualizer, guys. Let's open up an audio file. Let's see. So I have loaded the audio file. Let's play this.
Tell me how you feel. Is it real? I don't wanna overthink. Is it all for show? I don't know. Feeling like I'm on the brink of something beautiful, or maybe terrible.
I don't know, guys, if it's actually reacting to the music.
You to be open with me when I have my secrets that I tend to keep safely under lock and key. I'm hypocritical,
It's not working
but at least
well with the music, guys. What do you guys think?
beautiful.
Not that good, I guess.
Terrible. Only one way to know. Only one way to know. Is this a yes or a no? Which way will it go? Only one way to know. Only one way to know.
I think when the volume increases, we see bigger circles. But other than that, it's a very basic visualizer, guys. Let's stop this. Let's move on to Gemini 2.5 Flash. Okay, we have got the response, guys. Let's copy the code. Let's paste that. And immediately we don't see any kind of errors, but a lot of warnings, guys. Anyways, let's run that. Okay, and that didn't run, guys. That is a fail. So clearly, OpenAI's response was at least working. Here it actually didn't work, guys. That was a fail. So comparatively, OpenAI was better. Let's move on to the next question. So the next question is, guys, create an interactive rotating maze puzzle game using only HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Let's see if they are able to do that. Let's send this question to both models. Let's see what they come up with. Okay, Gemini is still thinking. Meanwhile, we have got a response from O4 Mini High. So let's see. Let's copy the code. Open up HTML viewer. Let's paste that and let's preview. Okay, that is very bad, guys. We don't see a rotating puzzle actually. You guys can see there is no rotating puzzle. I mean, like I'm able to rotate it, but would you call this as a puzzle? And it says congratulations, you won. So I would say it's a terrible response from O4 Mini. Let's copy the code from Gemini 2.5 Flash. Open up HTML viewer and let's paste that. Let's preview it. Okay, so this is the rotating maze, guys. Okay, comparatively it's better, guys. You guys can see we at least are able to see a maze. So although it's not a working code, it's a fail from Gemini as well, but comparatively I would say that it is better. So that's a win for Gemini 2.5. Let's move on to the next question. So this is our final question, guys. The question is, create a stunning and detailed single page HTML web page that shows the solar system using storytelling. So let's send this question to both models. We'll enable the thinking budget and keep it at max. Let's run this. So you might be knowing about web pages, that are a single web page and you can scroll and you have animations in it. So this is similar kind of a web page. Let's see what they come up with. Okay, OFO Mini Eye is searching the web, guys. I think it is looking for some CDN files. I do like the agentic capabilities of the new OpenAI models. Okay, we have got the responses. Starting off with OFO Mini, open up HTML viewer and paste that. Let's preview it. Okay, this is the website. You can see the title sun and the text over it. Let's scroll. That's Mercury and you can see the planet behind. This is Venus. Okay, you can see the animation, guys. The Earth is getting expanded and then you see the Mars, Jupiter. Okay, we have 3 Saturns, Uranus. So it was not able to fetch Neptune. So I would say the animation is quite nice but not very good. It feels like the images are just kept behind. They are just zooming. Not that interactive web page, but kind of okay. Let's see what Gemini has come up with. Let's copy the code, open up HTML viewer and paste that. Let's see. Okay, immediately you can see the stars behind. Let's see. Let's scroll. So you can see this is the sun. You have the image getting bigger and then you have Mercury. So it was not able to fetch Venus, I guess. You have Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus. Okay, so for a lot many planets Gemini was not able to fetch, and there could be a reason because it was not able to search the web, whereas actually 4O Mini did search the web. So comparatively I would say that O4 Mini's response actually looks good, so that's a win for O4 Mini. So what can we say? In the Dragon question, both actually didn't give a very good response, but I would say comparatively Gemini was better. Next up, when it comes to the Mario game, we clearly saw the game that OFO Mini gave didn't work at all. But on the contrary, the game that Gemini gave, although it was simple, but was complete and working. So again, that was a win for Gemini. Moving on, the falling letters question. Again, we didn't see the letters falling in the OFO Mini's code, whereas Gemini gave, I would arguably say, one of the best implementation of the falling letters test. Again, a win for Gemini. Talking about the bouncing balls question, I would say both were very close, and the opening which they mentioned was not that clear. But we saw a weird effect in the O4's response, that the balls would group together in a weird manner. Whereas we didn't have such kind of issue in the Gemini's response. So we can say that it's a slight win for Gemini. Talking about the Earth rotation question, we could see that OFO Mini was not able to give us a working code, and Gemini, it gave us a working code. Although I would say that it didn't look like the Earth, but it was at least working. So that was a clear win. Talking about the pinball question, I would say it was a fail from both models, but Gemini was better. In the Angry Birds question, surprisingly, OFO Mini was better, guys, because it gave us a working code in one go. Unlike Gemini, which gave us a blue screen. Talking about Silent Streamer question, clearly OFO Mini had a weird issue of duplication, and Gemini, on the contrary, actually gave us a working code. And in the music visualizer question, you could see that Gemini was actually not able to give us a working code, guys, but OFO Mini at least gave us something. Although I would say that was not good, but this win goes to OFO Mini. And in the rotating puzzle game, both actually failed the test, but comparatively, Gemini looked better. So that's a win for Gemini. Talking about the final solar system question, OFO Mini gave us a better response. So if you now look at the total scores, that is 8 points for Google Gemini and just 3 points for OFO Mini High. Clearly, guys, we can see that Gemini absolutely annihilated OFO Mini High when it comes to coding. So at the end, after looking at everything, we can say that OFO Mini is generally a smarter model, guys, but Gemini is clearly better for coding. And for reasoning and maths, OFO Mini High is better. I hope I was able to do a satisfactory comparison between these models. One way you can appreciate the effort is by hitting the like button and subscribing to my channel and following our community. We also do live streams. I would really like to see you there. So, with that being said, I will catch you guys in the next one.